AI agents right now can do a lot of work on their own. It can plan out a task, it can create a full slide deck, or it can build a full SaaS application end to end with the coding agents what we see today. If you're watching it for the first time, it feels like a magic. But it is not magic. There are few specific pieces working under the hood that turn a normal AI into an agent. In this video, I want to walk you through 5 of those terms. I am Prashant. Welcome to Walk the Tech channel. Without any further delay, let's get started. Let's start with the basics. Inside every agent, there is a model, a large language model. So that is the part doing the actual thinking and writing. On its own, a model is just a chat partner. You type and it replies. That's it. So what turns a model into an agent is the layer of instructions around that model. Now that brings us to the first term called AGENTS.md. MD means markdown. It's just a fancy term for the plain text file. Agents.md sits at the top of your project where your agent runs. So whenever your agent starts, this is the first file it reads. This file ideally contains all the instructions for the agent. For example, if your agent is for code review, then it should contain instructions like where to look for a code, how to review a pull request, what the best practices are, and what are the few things which should avoid doing. It's like a README file for agents. It contains the instructions or rules for the agents to follow. Now that you understand agents.md, let's talk about two things that's worth knowing. One, you can have more than one agents.md file, like one main file for the whole project and others inside the subfolders with their own extra rules. Two, this one started inside OpenAI. Now it is handed over to the Agentic AI Foundation. So it's an open standard now, not owned by any one company. Oh, I missed one. Some agents use a slightly different file name. Claude, for example, calls its files as claude.md. Different name, same exact idea. Now, if that's clear, let's head to the next term. So agents.md gets read every time the agent starts. But some knowledge the agent only needs once in a while. For example, take how to build a PowerPoint deck. If the agent loads all these instructions every time, even when you asked it to reply to a quick email, that's a waste. It clogs up the agent's memory and it eats up your most precious tokens. Now that brings to our term 2, agent skills. So what's that? An agent skill is a folder, and inside that folder there is a file called skill.md plus any templates or scripts the job actually needs. There is a short description or what's called metadata. It basically says open me when the user wants to make a slide deck. So when your request matches that, the agent reaches in and grabs the skill, and when it doesn't, the skill just sits in the drawer. Think of skills like a recipe cards in the drawer. One for building a deck, one for formatting an invoice, and other for writing an email. The agent only pulls out the one it needs. Agent skills are also an open standard, by the way. So we understood two terms, agents.md and agent skills. Both of these live inside the agent. They shape how it behaves. Now the agent knows what to do. But doing the real work usually means reaching out to the external tools like your Notion, your Google Calendar, your Gmail, and payment link, you name it. And the problem is every one of these has its own way in, its own door. So without some shared standard, every agent would need a custom wiring to connect to these tools, which is a mess and not scalable. So that brings to the term 3, MCP, Model Context Protocol. The simplest way to understand MCP is think of it like an USB-C for AI. One standard port that everything plugs into. An MCP comes with something called MCP server and it wraps a tool. Let's say Notion has an MCP server. Now every AI agent can connect to the Notion via MCP. No custom wiring required. If your agent wants to write something to the Notion, it communicates to Notion via MCP, and MCP server takes care of all the messy things inside the Notion. Honestly, you have probably already using this without even knowing. When you connect your Claude or ChatGPT to your Gmail or your Google Calendar, MCP is doing its job underneath to make it work. Let me know in the comments if you want me to explain MCP in detail with a working demo. Also, if you like what you're seeing, please subscribe. It will be a big motivation for me. MCP started at Anthropic. Now it is under Agentic AI Foundation. Pretty much the whole industry is using it. So that covers your agents talking to tools and data. What about your agents talking to other agents? So that's our term 4, A to A, which just stands for agent to agent. So A to A is a shared language for one agent to talk to another agent. Let me give you a scenario. Say you have got one agent whose job is to find out the best supplier and sort out a deal, and another agent whose job is to approve the spending. The first one finds the supplier, then it needs to hand over the deal to the second agent for the approval. Now, without A to A, these two agents need some kind of custom integration, or else they won't coordinate well. With A to A, each agent publishes an agent card. It's basically a little profile explaining how to work with that agent, like a business card for that agent. So the other agent reads the card, figures out what this one is good for, and hands off the task. A to A came from Google. And yes, it's also now an open standard under the Linux Foundation. Let's put these two side by side. MCP is how the agent talks to your tools and data, and A to A is how agents talk to each other. Hope that's not going over your head. Let's jump to the last one. So far, one agent. But sometimes one agent just isn't enough. Maybe the job is too big. The work can be split up into multiple steps. Let's say you have got 20 separate checks to run. Each one is independent. You could do them one at a time, but that's slow. Doing all 20 at once would be 20 times faster, right? That brings us to term 5. Subagents. A subagent is a helper agent that the main agent creates to do one specific piece of work, and each helper runs in its own fresh memory. It does one job. Once it's done, it hands the result over to the main agent and it's gone. So take that big job. Your main agent had to do 20 different checks. Instead of doing all on its own, now it spins helpers. It tells each of them to execute a specific task and give me back a short summary. The helpers do those, hands back the summaries, and the main agent stays clean and clear. You can run any number of subagents at once. Think of it like a manager handing the big project to the team and then just collecting back the summaries. Now, subagents are a little different from the other 4. The other 4 have the actual standards written down. Subagents don't really have one standard document. It's more of a common pattern, broadly accepted. That's all 5. So let's put it all together. We have agents.md and agent skills. They live inside the agent and shape how it behaves. We have MCP and A to A. That's how the agent reach outward. MCP to your tools, A to A to other agents. And we have subagents. That's how it handles a job too big for one agent. This is what an AA agent actually looks under the hood today. 5 terms, and now they are not just buzzwords to you. So tell me in the comments, which one of these have you heard before but never really understood? I will take any single one of these and go deeper on it in the next video. Just say the word. That's it from me. If you got any value out of this, please do subscribe to work.tech. It really motivates me. I'll see you in the next one.